Okay, so I finished spit shading my rose in black, and I forgot to say a couple things, but you can leave some areas unshaded. Okay, sometimes it's too much to shade every single little shape, especially if you have all these little rose petals in there. So you can leave some of them blank. Okay, now I'm going to put my color right over the top of this. So now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about these sets. They're a little bit different than a watercolor set that you've seen before. I buy them specifically because it's called the mixing set, and you learn more about mixing colors with them. They have 2 of each primary color. Okay, so you've learned that the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. But it matters if you have a cool red or a warm red, or a cool blue and a warm blue. So I'll show you the difference. Your cool red is more of a pink. Okay, so that's going to be used for making purples. Your warm red is more of an orange. Okay, it's a red-orange, so that's going to be obviously better for making your oranges. And then yellow, it's just always running out so fast. That's why they put in 2, but they're the exact same yellow. Okay, you could designate one yellow to be for your cool colors, like your greens, and one yellow to be for your warm colors, like your oranges. And then your warm blue is more of a teal, so that's going to be better for mixing greens. See if I mix it with that yellow. Okay, and your cool blue is better. It's more of a purple or a true blue, so that's going to be better for mixing up purples. Okay, so it's a little different, and so you're thinking, what about just plain old red? You've been told your whole life that you can't mix red because it's a primary color. It's a lie. It's not true. You can. So again, I need just enough water in there to activate my color, but not so much that I'm really diluting it. I want to mix a really nice red, like I did on my rose there. And you're going to do that by magenta. So I'm swirling around in there, picking up some of the pigment, so it's not just water. I want pigment. Okay, I want some really concentrated magenta. Then I'm going to swirl, tap, and do the same thing with my red-orange. And mix those 2 together, and you get a true red. Isn't that beautiful? If you're really picky and you want to make sure every single petal is exactly the same red, you're going to need to mix up a lot of it right here. So I'd probably go back again and mix up double that amount of paint. This one, you can tell I had to remix, so this one's kind of like a little more purple, this one's a little more orange, but I actually like that look. It doesn't bother me, so I'm going to be okay with that. Okay, so now laying it over. I only need to do this with one brush. I'm going to use my Better brush that is smaller, pointier, okay? And then I'll just start with one petal. One thing about the flash style is that it leaves some white areas, like highlights. So the edge of the petals, I'm going to leave white. So I'm going to draw that line first along the edge, leaving a white space. And then I'm going to fill in this area. And then I'm going to very carefully just overlay over the black. Okay, and then I'm not going to touch it anymore. The reason is because I can reactivate the black. If I'm swirling in here too much, I can erase all that black, all that nice shading that I did. I can completely ruin and mess up in this step. So I just want to lay the color over and then don't touch it again, okay? And I have to rinse between each petal because now there's black in this brush. So I'm going to rinse, tap. I'm not going to do the petal right next to it because then they might bleed into each other. So now I'm going to move to another petal. I'm going to jump over. And I'm going to outline my highlight very first. I'm going to fill in all the white space. Okay, and then when I go over the gray or the black, I'm going to be very careful. Just lay over it once and then don't touch it anymore. Okay, now I'm going to have to rinse because I have black in my brush. Tap and do that again. If there's anywhere you don't want to leave highlights, sometimes it can just get to be too much, like these, kind of the body of the rose. I'm not going to leave any highlights. I'm just going to let that stay red. As you can see, my color is getting less concentrated as I paint. Uh-oh, I'm doing spots next to each other. But I'm careful, I'm just not letting them touch. And it doesn't take as long for it to dry as you might think it will. So you don't have to leave those white highlights everywhere. And I just continue filling in the red. It's okay that not all the red areas are the same. It's totally fine, okay? I think it makes it more interesting looking. And then I could do my leaves and my stem green. Oh, let's actually talk about mixing up a nice green. So I need my yellow. And I'm gonna pick up some blue. Now that's kind of a screaming green, like I don't like how bright that is. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of my red, and that's gonna dull it down a little bit, okay? Red and green are complementary colors, so that's a nicer, more leafy green, I think. So now I'm gonna paint that on. Okay, if you end up accidentally getting, say I was bad and I got blue in my yellow. Don't leave it like that for the next person, okay? All you need to do is take your paper towel and wipe it out. No big deal, okay? One thing about cleaning the sets, when you have used a lot of the palette like this and it's really dirty, you may take this part out and take this thing take the whole thing over to the sink, okay, and wash it out there. But do make an attempt to take a paper towel and dry it out a little bit. And if you have tons of pools, like if you have a big pool of water in there, try to absorb a little bit with your paper towel, okay? When you leave big puddles of water in here and you shut it, that can make a big mess after you've put it away in the drawer, okay? So just make sure that you're leaving it clean for the next class. And that's everything.